Trendy designs look great on social media and in magazines, but some of these popular ideas do not add value to your home and can make it harder for you to sell when the time comes. Let's talk about it. Trend number one, let's talk about floating stairs. These sleek, minimalist staircases are the darling of modern design, but they're not always practical. For one, they can be a huge safety hazard. Now, if there are no railings attached, which I've seen this all over, especially in hot areas around me, like the city of Philadelphia, we see floating stairs all the time, but they are a potential safety hazard, especially again, if they don't have railings. But you have to understand that the majority of people who are coming to look at your home are going to have kids, right? And for kids, this is pretty dangerous. Just think about it from your standpoint. If you were living in a home and you have those trendy floating stairs, do you want your kids going up and down them, especially if there's no railing? No, you're not going to want to. So think twice about this before you go ahead and install them in your home because you think they look good. Many of these staircases have wide open gaps which might look great but scream accident waiting to happen. And honestly, they will probably go against a lot of different codes if it's not done right. Building codes where you live may require you to add features that disrupt the aesthetic anyway. So unless you're ready to splurge on something really custom, just stick to what works before going the way of floating stairs. Trend number two is light fixtures over bathtubs. Nothing says luxury like a dramatic chandelier hanging over a soaking tub, right? Sure, it looks really appealing, but it's a huge safety hazard. Can you imagine if you're sitting in your tub, enjoying your beautiful bathroom, you have the chandelier, and something goes wrong and it potentially falls on you, right? It could be catastrophic. And in a lot of cases, this is a huge building and safety issue, and it won't pass inspections with the township that you're in. Electrical fixtures near water need to meet strict clearance standards to prevent accidental shocks. In a lot of places, it has to be 8 feet high from the tallest point of the bathtub. Now, unless you're living in Buckingham Palace, it's gonna be really hard to meet that standard. We're saying that your bathroom needs to be like 10-foot ceilings. And how many people have 10 feet ceilings, right? It just does not happen. And I know it looks good aesthetically, it's awesome, but it's not practical and it could be a potential huge safety issue. And beyond that, let's talk about maintenance. Can you imagine trying to clean up there? You're gonna have to get an 8-foot tall or 10-foot tall ladder just to dust it and to maintain it and to switch out the light bulbs. And if there's ever any potential issues and you have to have an electrical contractor come out and look at it, they might even charge you more money because it's a little bit more dangerous for them to get up there. If you're not a fan of awkward stretches of the fear of it crashing down, you might want to skip this one. Instead, just opt for recessed lighting or wall sconces. It's really gonna help you set that mood that you're looking for in your bathroom. Sticking on the topics of bathrooms, trend number 3 are doorless bathrooms. Doorless bathrooms have a chic, spa-like vibe and make small spaces feel more open. Without proper enclosure, moisture can just seep into all those different areas of your bathroom and your bedroom, and it can cause mold and mildew. Now look, I know the idea of it seems practical, but if it's at the expense of creating potential mold in your home and mildew, which is such a pain in the butt to get rid of, to clean, then I don't think it's a good option, especially if you don't have the right ventilation. And don't get me started on privacy. Look, I know you love your significant other, but here's the reality. Do you actually want to smell what is happening in the bathroom when you're lying in bed and you're trying to relax? The answer to that is no, you do not. So when you think about designing your bathroom in that primary suite, for the most part, doorless is not the way to go. And a huge majority of potential buyers are not going to be interested in buying a home that has a doorless bathroom in the primary suite that they're just going to add a door to anyway. So with that being said, and designing your home with the intention of potentially selling it down the road and maximizing value, one of the best things that you need to do is have a great real estate agent. So if you're watching this and you do need a great real estate agent referral anywhere in the US and you want me to do the hard work of finding it for you absolutely free, then all you gotta do is click that link below, click the QR code, and schedule an appointment with me. We'll jump on a call, 10, 15 minutes. I'll find out what you want, find out what you need. And again, I said it's free, no obligation at all to me. I'll just help connect you with the right real estate agent for you. Design number 4 to avoid are DIY epoxy countertops. Epoxy countertops are very popular among DIY enthusiasts because they promise to give you the look of luxury stone for a fraction of the price. While that's true in theory, the execution of it really shows for a lot of people. Look, epoxy is just glorified plastic, right? So that means that the look afterwards of this DIY strategy is not going to look how it looks in social media. Get that out of your head. Pinterest, Instagram, all those sites, they will show you only the best of the best. You're not really going to see the horror stories of what it's like to truly apply epoxy to countertops, right? And in 90+% of instances, it really looks cheap. And that's not the look you want for. And again, it's just like a glorified plastic. And do you really want to show that off to people, especially if you're thinking about selling? Or if you're not and you're just hosting friends and family over? No. For starters, getting that high gloss, bubble-free finish takes serious skill. Minor imperfections, even the most minor ones, are going to show. And if this is like your first time doing it, your first foray into epoxy, do not start with the kitchen countertops. Try doing it on a bathroom vanity that you don't have to see all the time, right? Because this way, if you actually do it right and it looks well, then you can apply it to the kitchen countertops. And in a lot of cases, it's just better to invest in quartz or granite, save up a little bit of money if you do want to add value to your home that way and increase how it feels to you being in your kitchen. Now, this 5th trend is so interesting to me, and I don't know why it started, but it's here. And that's no or micro backsplash in the kitchen. The minimalist look, tiny backsplashes, or even none at all. Again, while it might look sleek in photos, it doesn't really add any true value, especially if you're cooking a lot in your kitchen. A backsplash is the barrier between cooking grease, all kinds of spills and stains, and your drywall and moisture, right? It's going to help protect your drywall in the long run. And I just really don't understand why people are not putting up any kind of backsplash at all, or they're just putting up like a micro backsplash, maybe a few inches. This is not really doing your kitchen any good. Again, because if you're spending a lot of time in it and you're cooking in it, then you want to have that protection, that barrier between all of the stuff that can get on the walls and the drywall. Now, I see this a lot in like small apartments where they're just using the kitchen and that design, that minimalist design, for social media, right? There's not much practicality to it, I promise you. If you're thinking about upgrading your kitchen and you do want to add that little pizzazz, make sure you just go with a normal subway tile, right? It's probably the cheapest thing you could possibly do to add value to your kitchen that's going to give you some return. Don't opt for no backsplash or a micro backsplash. It's just not practical. I always like to throw bonuses in there. And the next trend is TVs over fireplaces that are just too high up. Look, I have done this in my house as well, and I can tell you firsthand, I do not like it, right? The idea of having a TV over the fireplace appeals to a lot of people because when you're in the living room, generally the TV is the focal point of the living room. But ideally, you want to be sitting and watching TV at your eye height, not straight to go up like this. And it's such a pain in the butt. And for our house personally, and I know it's like this for a lot of people, it just makes the most sense to have your TV over your fireplace. But look, if there's ever a time that you can really try and figure out how to keep it at eye level and keep all of your furniture in the room, maybe just position it differently, this would be a good move. Now, this is just a normal design trend, right? It's not super popular and super trendy, but it's just one of those things that's it's really gonna help with how you view TV and how you relax at night. And it's also going to help with the feng shui of the property. And as you know, the staging is everything when you're considering selling your home. Now, these trends are just that. They're trends, right? So eventually they're going to fall out of style and they're not even going to be a thing anymore. But when it comes to really designing your home and making sure that you do so with the intent of being able to sell it later, these are the things you want to avoid. And if you really want to know which renovations to avoid that will completely tank the value of your home, just click on this next video up here.